Hi and welcome to a cEDH card review for Marchesa, Dealer of Death. 1 red, 1 black, 1 blue for a legendary creature human rogue free 4. She has one really cool ability. Whenever you commit a crime, you may pay 1. If you do, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. You commit a crime whenever you're basically targeting anything that your opponents control or target your opponents, as it reads. Targeting opponents, anything they control and or cards in their graveyards is a crime. In other words, whenever you spot remove something with a lightning bolt or any spot removal of sorts against any one of your opponent's permanents, this is gonna trigger and give you a card draw, or better actually, it's not triggering card draw triggers. You're not actually drawing the card, you're putting it into your hand, which is different. But you also get to choose from 2, sending 1 to the grave and keeping the other. That's a lot better. Now you might say, oh, she's bad, you have to pay 1, but I have to enforce something here. If you remove the part where you have to pay the 1, she would be kind of broken, because you could play a lot of free to cast spells and basically storm through your entire deck the moment she comes into play. As there is a lot of different cards that are free to cast, so you don't need to pay any mana for it, that will trigger a crime. But that also means that all of those free to cast things, or very low to cast things, just adds 1 more mana to it and you cantrip. This enables the possibility to play a really controlling mid-range game plan, with the commander being the huge card draw engine, as you just sit there with your 99 filled with spot removal or control cards, counter spells, etc. and just interact with everything you have against your opponents. But as you're playing Grixis color identities and you're fueling the graveyard, Underworld Breach becomes a natural option. Like, this is fueling the Underworld Breach game plan. Yawgmoth's will also be great. A core game plan in Grixis these days is to mill yourself, because that enables you to dig towards that Underworld Breach and build up that Underworld Breach potential. And this commander will naturally do that, as well as playing that very interactive game plan. Another thing I think is very important to point out, that you're not going to naturally draw hate towards you. You're putting your commander in play, but your commander isn't key. You can truly play the game really great without this commander. Grixis is currently in a really good spot and operating quite well. So your opponent won't view you as a problem, or they're gonna view you as annoying, but once you have your commander play and a bunch of mana, you're not going to be the threat. You're just going to be the one dealing with the threat. And that means you're going to be left out. People aren't really going to focus on you. But there is a problem too. People might be sitting and sandbagging quite a lot, knowing that you are probably gonna be able to deal with whatever that is coming up. And that's a problem, because you don't really want to be the police, the one that is the only one interacting with everyone. In a control game, in a mid-range game, you need others to deal with others as well. And there's nothing worse than sitting with this commander in play and controlling the game with various spot removals, and then someone is sitting there with a heuristic study and just drawing cards while you're making sure that person isn't losing the game. And then suddenly that person will overpower you, and yeah. In the end, controlling 3 opponents on a solo mission is quite impossible. So if you're going to build this, I would highly recommend that you practice being good at politics, making sure that others are also doing their job controlling other players, that you're not the only one sitting there and trying to make sure no one is winning, interacting with everyone. But all in all, as a finalized review, I honestly think this is great. It is going to join the many different Grixis commanders that are playable and optional. It looks really fun. I kind of personally like this kind of gameplay style, where you basically sit and just have a lot of cards in your hand, you're sitting with your mana at the ready, you're passing turn, doing the passive thing, and then in someone's end step, or when you have to, you start to fire off your interaction spells and use this commander to cantrip, dig through your deck, finding more interaction and fueling your graveyard and finding your combo eventually. I believe you can build this commander in a lot of different variations of ways. as grixis is enabling a lot of different combo options. You can either go like Adnos. I don't think I would do this in this build because I think I would personally play a lot of free to cast spells like Deadly Rollick, Snuff Out, spells with a really high CMC that would make Adnos struggle is the correct word, or be problematic. But you have Necropotence. You can easily add Born Upon a Wind, Necropotence, Final Fortune into this commander. You're going to be playing Thassa's Consult. You're going to be playing Brain Freeze, Lion's Diamond and Underworld Breach. So everything is just basically lining itself up. I think this commander is literally building itself. But yes, you can take it in different directions. And it is going to be interesting to actually see this in action. I think this is going to be brought to a variations of tournaments. And let's do something new on this kind of card review style. I'm going to predict or guess its futuristic win rate. As you've been potentially following this YouTube channel for a while, you might have noticed that I'm collecting statistics and data on various things, calculating the win rate of various commanders. And I am going to guess that we're going to hit, I think it's gonna be a win rate of 23 to 25. Maybe not 25, 24. Definitely above 23 though. cEDH currently sits at 27, Tymnocrom sits at 27 as well. It's gonna be very hard for this to compete with those. Playing hardcore control currently is a bit tricky and not really recommended. So because of that reason, I think it's going to, in the end, hit somewhere between 23 to 24. That's my final guess. I would love to hear what you think. Leave a comment below on the win rate percentage you believe this is going to hit. And in the future, when we have calculated enough data sampling from this commander entering into tournaments, we will know if I'm correct or if I'm wrong. But I think this is going to pop up a little bit, or well, it depends on how popular it actually gets in the end. But I am personally going to play this. I kind of like this kind of gameplay style where you sit in control and draw cards and try to, like, become the arch enemy of the game, where lots of different ways of interacting with your opponents and like dictating the entire flow of the game. I kind of like that. I like the feeling of being a mastermind. In any case, guys, thank you so much for watching this card review. As we have a lot of new legendaries, and a lot of them are actually quite interesting, with some very cool potential that are definitely worth talking about, more legendary card reviews are definitely coming up. As well as some non-legendary cards that we definitely have to talk about, that are going to go into specifically cEDH and other commanders as well. I'm looking at you, your legendary Golgari enchantment Vraska joins up. But until then, take care guys!